Before I begin, I should clarify how I'm gonna tackle the overall structure of the series, since I think it's really necessary. Heroes of the Stars currently has 11 episodes, and unlike most series, these episodes are often divided in 2, 3 or 4 parts. This, mixed with 3 separate remasters, 1 for episode 2 and 2 for episode 1, watching this series can be quite confusing. On one hand, it benefits the audience as they won't have to wait for so long, but it also negatively affects them. For example, let's say you're watching episode 2, you finish part 1, and you're gonna watch part 2. But then, you notice the text boxes being different, the animation being worse, and the drawings being... Turns out, this is version 2, and part 1 of what you were watching before was version 1. See what I mean? The point is, I'll just watch the first versions of everything. This is why I showed the first version of the opening. It's just to avoid confusion. I will compare between versions though. Okay, I spent too much time on the intro, let's just start. Episode 1. A New Beginning. It starts off with the power-hungry alien race who are on the lookout for a new planet they can conquer and settle in, the Shrews. They're essentially the same villains with the same goals as in Marvel Luigi Partners in Time, but I don't think that's a problem. They didn't get to reach their full potential in the MNL series, at least compared to the likes of Awful. So their inclusion doesn't actually bother me, and it's kind of refreshing. Wario and Waluigi are unironically the first characters to appear in the entire series. The Shrews don't count since they were just a shadow. I don't know, just feel like saying this. The duo is trying to find a pipe that leads to Princess Peach's treasure chamber. Because a pipe like that exists and is out in the open. Okay. Bowser Jr. then appears and offers to form a temporary alliance between the three of them. Meanwhile, Mario is sleeping in broad daylight until Luigi gets a concussion from a falling Pericarry, who lays Peaches in fight for a party. Damn, no spelling mistake. Yoshi joins them, Mario says paisanos, and off they go. It's your typical Mario intro, nothing really special about it. Cut back to the Wario Bros and Bowser Jr. again, who find the treasure chamber with extreme ease and somehow didn't come across a single Toad guard. Actually, the only Toads that do appear in this episode are Toadsworth and Toadbird, and the latter is the one that finds the Wario gang already at the treasure. You may be asking, what is the security? No! Where is the security? Toads. We're useless. Anyway, even if Toadbird managed to alert them, it's already too late. Bowser infiltrates the castle and knocks Yoshi and Luigi unconscious. While all of this is happening, Mario and Peach are having a picnic. Peach introduces the Warp Star, a transportation device created by the gods and the star spirits to travel from planet to planet, and apparently only one human can use it, that being Mario, the chosen one. Let's note the fact that Peach managed to call it without Mario's aid whatsoever. After the outward dump, Luigi and Yoshi crash and land right next to them. This distracts Mario for a whole 7 seconds, which is enough for Peach to get captured. Oh, for fuck's sake. Bowser then shows his ugly mug, and with that, the episode ends. Really basic episode, but since it's the first one, it's fine. I think the highlight of the episode is the natural crescendo of the intensity. And when I said typical Mario intro on that one scene before, I just didn't mean that scene. It's kinda the whole episode actually. Although that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, it's just that I've seen this scenario once too many times. It would be cool if some tropes could be subverted. Before I move on, I just want to discuss something for a little bit. I remember hearing from a lot of people that characters such as Mario, Luigi and Yoshi talking was really off-putting and cursed. But honestly, it's not that big of an issue. Here, first of all, it's established that they're able to talk ever since the beginning of this series. Go back to when I asked why was Mario talking in one of the SMBHOTS bootlegs. That's because it's established in the original SMBHOTS that Mario only speaks in Italian gibberish. So going from that to this, is what's actually out of place and it's inconsistent with the original source. Also, the reason why I believe Mute Mario worked in SMBZ is that each time there was a heavy dialogue scene, the Sonic side would be the one talking and the Mario side would be the one reacting. And it's a great contrast. However, in Heroes of Stars, there is no Sonic, there is no Shadow, there is no Mecha Sonic. So I think making the Mario characters talk was understandable. Episode 2, The Man Against the Beast. This one starts out right after the last one ended. Mario uses the Warp Star, fighting his way up to one of the airships, eventually destroying it. He targets another one, which contains the Wario Bros, Bowser Jr. and the treasure, which they managed to steal in the previous episode, but Bowser prevents that by hitting him with a fireball, making him fall to the ground. What follows after is essentially phase 1 of the episode where Mario, Luigi and Yoshi fight elite soldiers. At first, I thought this phase was kind of irrelevant. It's fodder enemies, Mario already fought them before, but this is introducing Luigi and Yoshi's powers or abilities. More specifically, Luigi's Thunder Hand and Yoshi's overall tankiness. And then there's phase 2, which is the climax of the episode. Mario fights Bowser, Luigi fights Bowser Jr. and Yoshi fights Boshi. By the way, I think it's really cool that we have 3 separate fights going on. When one starts to overstay their welcome, we switch to another. It's clever. Obviously the main fight here is still Mario vs Bowser, and the other two serve more as appetizers. Now, the overall animation. What can I say about the overall animation? It's not SMBC. Whoa, really? I think it's a really high bar to surpass anyway, especially at the time, 2011, trying to emulate what SMBC did. Nah, that's impossible. Still, it's fine for what it is. We got some cool shots as well. After the villains get defeated, which, yeah, I saw that coming, there was a moment that I really liked, and it's a little moment that sets up a plotline that's eventually resolved in episode 4. Mario tells Bowser that it's been 2 years since he tried to capture Peach for the first time. He affirms that all of his efforts have always been futile. It always resulted with Mario saving the day. Then, as he's going away, he looks back at him and gets a 10-second flashback of all their previous battles. What this hints is that Mario somewhat feels sorry for Bowser. Deep down, he knows the Koopa King is a good guy, and each time he won against him, he would slowly lose his pride. By showing this, it's obvious that this charade has gone for too long now. When will Bowser ever learn to stop? To swallow this huge pride of his and move on? In the official Mario timeline, he never does. But what if it did? Obviously, he can't just change his behavior from one moment to another. There needs to be other factors. Bigger factors. The parallel between this and Mario destroying one early on, but taking quite some time to do that, is a great first impression on how powerful the shrubs actually are. Also, as if Bowser's honor wasn't already hurt after he lost to Mario once again, his army, his pride and soul, is just disintegrated in seconds. This is a great introduction to the shrubs. After that, the shrubs' mothership sucks Peach off and kidnap Peach. And the treasure, yeah. And they go towards Bowser's castle, thus ending episode 2. This whole scene was nothing more than a great showcase of the show don't tell philosophy. So little was shown, yet so much was told. Unlike episode 1, there wasn't really much to say about this one, this is mostly just fights. But this does give me the opportunity to make a comparison between this version and... because it's actually kinda sad how downgraded this was. A downgrade so bad it essentially created my channel. I'm gonna give 2 comparisons, and if you've watched my review / roast of episode 2's remaster, then you know these scenes. When Mario is charging towards an airship in version 2, he defeats 3 bullet bills in the span of 24 seconds. However, in version 1, he defeats hordes of enemies in the span of 20 seconds. So, why did the format take so long with less enemies to defeat? That's because of several unnecessary awkward cuts and the pacing just being all over the place. Version 1. It's fluid, it's fast, it showcases Mario's strength. It has multiple layers to it. If you look at version 2, something that I also pointed out in my other video is that there are several seconds of nothing, and those mere seconds can ruin the whole flow of the fight. Plus, this scene is not showing anything, it's just Mario slapping 3 bullets. The next example is the scene I praised so much moments ago. How will the remaster handle it? Will it perhaps improve it even more? Add more depth to it? No, it's the exact opposite. Unlike the original episode, where the scene conveys its message through visual cues, the remastered version falls into this trap of excessive filler dialogue and unnecessary explanations. The pacing is slower and less engaging, as if it's trying to spoon-feed the audience with information rather than let them reach the conclusion themselves. This problem applies to Mario, who states that he wants Bowser to turn over a new leaf, which at this stage it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it especially applies to Bowser, who spends 2 minutes ranting in front of his arch-nemesis like a toddler. Stating his feelings and intentions for a long time does not fit his character at all. So much is shown, yet so little is told. Episode 3. The Legacy of Shoes. This one is where Heroes of Stars really starts to pick up. The Shoes have now arrived at Bowser's castle, with Mario's team and Bowser's team following suit right after. Because the two groups are separated, we got an interesting parallel here. Mario's scenes are lighthearted, goofy, fun. Threat is almost non-existent on their side. There's a scene where it's just going from one end of the room to another while trying to not be detected by some dancing shrubs celebrating their arrival. On the other side, Bowser's scenes feel dull and hopeless. Not only has he lost his army in the previous episode, now he has lost his castle as well as underlings and advisors. Everything of what made Bowser's kingdom is slowly being taken away. This does not just affect him, it affects Bowser Jr. too, who actually cries a little at seeing his brothers being put into an eternal sleep, with no real solution in sight. This parallel between sides is actually kinda similar to a scene in SMBHOTS episode 2 Reboot, although to a lesser degree. In that series, we spent over 5 minutes on a silly and goofy montage. Its purpose was nothing more than to give the audience a false sense of safety, which made Metallic's arrival to the scene later on much more terrifying without any form of dialogue. It dramatically twisted the tone by showing just how threatening and deadly the main villain can be. This is why the same applies to the Shoes. They are shown being goofy, sure, but their actions so far definitely aren't. It's a great balance between being comical and threatening, which, by the way, also completely goes in line with how they're portrayed in the origin game. Eventually, the two groups quietly arrive at the throne room. Princess Shub, the leader of the Shubs, proceeds to ask Peach about the Star Spirits, something that was mentioned back in episode 1, but she refuses, obviously. I find the next moment endearing. So, Princess Shub releases a pity piranha to, well, force the information on Peach, and somebody doesn't let that happen. Is it Mario? Is it Luigi? No! I interpret this scene in two different ways. Either Bowser just got tired of waiting, or he unironically wanted to save Peach. I prefer the latter since it proves Mario's point of view even further. After the gig is up and the gang and anti-gang reveal themselves, as well as Wario and Luigi, Princess Shub summons the Dark Star. In mere seconds, the tide has turned. I like to think that Wario, Luigi, Bowser Jr. and Yoshi got sent way further because, well, they are weaker than Mario, Luigi, Yoshi and Bowser, who landed just outside the castle. The crew realizes that they are powerless against Darkstar and decide to retreat for Peach's castle in the meantime, although the episode does not end there, as they have another problem in their hand. Mario decides to bring them along, which leaves Luigi and Yoshi confused because, well, is a bad guy. This decision does not come out of nowhere due to those scenes that came beforehand. The episode ends with them using the warp star to Peach's castle along with Bowser. So far, this has been the best episode. Why? Well, first of all, the things that bothered me the most were just simple annoyances. There's some corny dialogue here and there, although that was also present in early episodes and later ones. Mario carrying a warp pipe in his pocket where there wasn't any setup for that. The Dark Star not being tethered to the rods. Like, come on, how do you fumble that bad? So yeah, I almost had no issues with this episode. No major issues at least. Now, in case you haven't noticed, Heroes of Stars is a far slower paced series. Some even say it's the most anime-like sprite series ever. And, well, that's up to you whether that's a good thing or not. But you can't deny that a slower pace does not equal bad, as it shines with character interactions between each other. And this episode was full of them. From Yoshi saving Luigi from being spotted, Luigi crying next to Mario because it was almost spotted, from Boshi scaring Bowser Jr. with creepy stories, and Bowser being angry at that, Luigi being angry at Mario because he jumped jumped on Princess Shrew, and Bowser being a badass Saruman. Episode 4: An Unlikely Alliance, Mario and Bowser. Where the fuck were you all this time? Their princess was recently kidnapped. They should be on high alert. But no, they're goofing around, hoping Mario rescued her. No wonder she always gets captured if he has incompetent Toads like this. The guards, as well as Toadsworth and Toadbird, are all flabbergasted to see that instead of Princess Peach, Mario brought the king of the Koopas himself. Unconscious no less. What could this all possibly mean? Well, the team lays out the events of episode 2 and 3 through flashbacks, which, gotta say, really outstayed their welcome. At some point, Luigi mentions the Dark Star, the sole reason to why they all lost. Apparently, Toadbird knows the entity itself, and proceeds to explain its story. Which, yes, it's also the same origin story as in Bowser's Inside Story. A purely evil organism that desires nothing but to bring total darkness to the land. Before it did any harm, it was sealed by the Star Sprites. Although, there's one little different detail when comparing Heroes of Stars and Bowser's Inside Story. Instead of Princess Peach being the only one able to ascend the Dark Star, it's Princess Shrew now. How? Well, this is actually never explained in the series for some reason. In Bowser's Inside Story, it's showcased several times along the plot that Peach has a special power within her. She was even the catalyst for the Dark Star to be awakened because of that power in the first place. In Heroes of Stars, there's literally no evidence that Princess Shrew possesses any of these traits. There's also zero connection established between the Shrews and the Dark Star, which, by this logic, there should be. Having the same color palette is not enough, guys. I still stand by my point even in the next episodes, most importantly, episode 5. When they're studying the Shrews, it's written that their ships are powered by the Dark Star. And that's it. And it doesn't even make sense. How could we be powered by the Dark Star if he was sealed all this time? And their ships were already working before they even freed the damn thing. All they did was create another plot hole that didn't add context to anything. Back to episode 4 though, Mario points out that Toad Town is in ruins due to the Shrews' invasions. Aside from the fact that it's an excellent way to show that the world doesn't revolve around their heroes and other areas in the kingdom also got affected off screen, the execution is a bit lackluster. Assuming all Toads live in Toad Town, the way the guards acted at the start does not reflect that notion in the slightest. Their home probably got destroyed and they're like, hee hee, when will Mario come? So this just seemed like a rushed afterthought at the last minute. Man, this episode is just full of plot holes in the beginning. Makes you wonder if it's actually good or not. No, it is good. It has one redeeming quality that saves it. Bowser. In my opinion, Bowser's character has always been more about just himself. He's tied to an army, advisors, generals, a castle, and his son. When you think of Bowser, it's not just him, it's everything around him as well. So if you strip that away, you're stripping away a part of his character. And what we are left with is a shadow of its former self. That's Bowser in episode 4. He's lost it all. His army decimated. His advisors and generals put into an eternal sleep. His castle stolen. His son gone. Bowser Jr. was the last straw. This intentional stripping away of everything connected him had the simple intention to make us feel bad for him, to sympathize with him. I found myself feeling sorry for him even before the troops came in, and after they did, I actually began to root for him. And that's the point! We're drawn into this world of vulnerability and despair, a side of him which we've never seen before in the games. I mean it when I say that Bowser is the best part of Heroes of Stars. This entire plotline that I've been talking about since episode 2 culminates in the moment where he has no choice but to align with Mario. I don't care if the dialogue when he joins the heroes is corny. I don't care if the next moment is an awkward attempt to break the tension with a comedic scene. What I do care is character development that led us up until this point. It's the journey that truly matters, and Heroes of Stars successfully made Bowser a multi-dimensional character. His transformation feels earned and authentic. That's what resonated with me.